Have you ever wondered what in the world should I be doing with my life? As Rick Warren would say, what on earth am I here for, God? Well, today I would like to talk about 3 things that you can do to help hear God's plans for your life. The first thing is, I believe that God speaks to us in 3 different ways. So the first way is through prayer. I want to encourage you, if you're wondering what you should be doing with your life, is to pray to God. Share from your heart. And by praying, it quiets your heart and creates an open channel of communication for you to be able to share with God what it is that are the things that you desire, but for you to also be able to hear and be guided on what you think that God is saying to you that you should be doing with your life. The second way is through journaling. It's not always easy for me to sit down and sit still and start writing, but once I do, I really enjoy just getting all the thoughts down onto paper. Now, where in the world did those thoughts come from? Sometimes they came from us, but sometimes they're led by the Spirit, they're led by God, nudging us inside to write down these desires that are on our heart. Now, you're like, what in the world should I journal about? What can I write about? Well, one place to start is by writing down the 6 areas of your life. We have your spiritual life, your health and fitness, your family, your finances, then there's fun and recreation, and then there's business. So those are the 6 areas of your life where you usually spend your time. And one of the exercises you could do is physically sit down and write out what are the things in each area of your life that you really want, that you desire. Do you want for the family to be closer, for you to be spending more family time together on walks? Do you want to be having more date nights with your spouse? When it comes to health and fitness, do you need to be eating healthier foods that God created instead of the man-made foods that comes in a box or a jar or a can? So what are the things that you really want in each of the 6 different areas of your life? And then the third way that God communicates to us, I believe, is through a vision, the vision that you have for your life. And you're like, well, I really don't know what I want, which is why I'm listening to this in the first place. So an exercise you could do is just sit down and write out a page or 2 of a day in your life 5 years from now. I call this a vision statement. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What are you doing? How old are you 5 years from now? How old is your spouse, your children? How old are your parents? What do you spend your time doing on that day in the life 5 years from now, from the time you wake up to the time that you go to bed? Another way that God speaks to us is through our daily stewardship. Now, when you think of stewardship, you think of being good and responsible with your finances, with what God gave you. But in this particular example, I'm talking about how you spend your time. How you spend your time that God gave you here on this earth. Tony Robbins loves to say that your life is God's gift to you, but how you spend your life is your gift to God. So what we want to do is put a plan in place in order to get to that 5-year vision statement. What will you be doing on a daily basis in order to get there? Now, how do we know that the vision that you wrote down is from God and not from yourself? Right? Because sometimes we're like, well, how do I know if I'm trying to control it too much? I know it's you know what? We don't know. But I like what Pastor Sean Keels says. And he says, does your vision include God's people and God's place? Because if your vision includes God's people, then the vision was definitely from God, because he wants us to use our time to help his people. Now, what you want isn't necessarily a person, a place, or a thing that you possess, but what you spend your time doing. How are you spending the years of your life that God gave you as a gift to be able to honor Him? Am I spending my time finding ways how to show my love to my children? Am I spending my ways on how to honor and respect and love my husband? Am I showing my ways of how to help God's people? And through work, for example, it doesn't necessarily helping people doesn't necessarily mean to just always donating money. It can really mean helping the people. There may be people in your place of work or business that can use the God-given skills that you have, that He gifted you with, your spiritual gifts, to be able to help those people. Whether it's to come alongside and encourage them. Maybe you have the gift of encouragement. Maybe you have the gift of seeing the best in people and sharing that with them. Maybe you have the gift of being really handy and good at fixing things, and you're able to help fix their computer when it goes wacky, or the printer, or maybe there's someone in your place of work that's a widow or a single mom that needs help with her broken faucet. There are many ways for us to contribute to helping God's people, and in the workplace as well. So I hope that this has helped you in order to determine what God is trying to say to you for you to do with your life, through praying, through journaling, writing your vision statement, and determining a daily plan of how you can spend your time with your stewardship of time and feel in more congruence with what God created you to do here on this earth. Look forward to seeing you next time.